something. They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Yes, you said Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just hustle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slip. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I'm back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember Yahanna's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
We talking about practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we talking about practice.
Back row.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere of and they wonder it's not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No peace, the butterfly sting 'em, that's Ali. You Tyreek, I teach him with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'ma go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug life. They ring got the nose, bandana on the grip. All heads coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, niggas, so let it go. Made for this, nigga, I eat bars and drink flows. Thinking you woke into your third eye, peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy, it's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early, this bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game, these niggas lame, they bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, you want the easy pass, tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire, you can't stand the rain, take an aim. Tell him runner, he can try his best. Drive a car named after me, that's why I'm in the vet. Laugh at these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do, that's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this, janitor with the mop stick. You gon' need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10 I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick, I don't write, I find shit. I don't like it, then I'll switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7" is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk. I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl? I'm talking about another gun. We here now? Hey, look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas. We burn the crib down. I'm ahead now, and I hope they can hear now. I don't care if you think it's it, nigga. I don't fear clown. Silences make it sound like raindrop. That's a quiet storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking this bitch ready for war. I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex. That's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through this shit so effortless. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga. I bet what Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert, another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, it's an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit, I ain't listening, is effective. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So Tower War, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real trigger know them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear him, this shit light. It ain't on who got this gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain frame. Shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow side, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Tunes is late though. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shemarathon Bashim Yahweh in DC Scripture Breakdown class every Wednesday, as you all know. Tonight we're definitely going to touch on Sudan, all right? You touch on that history of Sudan, who they are, and what's going on with them. You know what I mean? But of course, we take, any questions in the meantime. We'll take any questions in the meantime on whatever is going on now, or any questions you all have, all right? We're good to go. All right. Any questions in the room?
Carl Concert.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, so if you could break down or go over this whole new red pill culture that's developing. So the red pill culture is a culture of men online who are starting to, quote unquote, regain their masculinity, right? And in their mind, regain their masculinity means that they start to know their worth, and and of course, because they start to know their worth, the result is, going up against the feminist movement, right?
And what is the red? Why they call it that? Why
Red-
they call it red pill, blue pill?
So the red pill basically meaning they're alpha, they're more masculine, versus the blue pill, they're beta, meaning that the blue pill does anything to make a woman happy, versus the red
I
pill.
guess that's why I had her blue, right? So I gotta see how that's why. Okay, but where does that come from? Where does the red being alpha and blue being beta come from?
It's like, so that comes from they trying to make a play off of the Matrix, red pill and the blue pill. The red pill is supposed to wake you up. Blue pill is supposed to make you go back to sleep and do whatever you
sure that's where it come from?
From what I've been
seeing.
I do the same thing, sir.
Okay. So the thing, that shit is really not real. Meaning, like, it's not based on any even if it was based on some sort of Greek mythology or Greek standard, it still wouldn't be real.
Right.
But we're talking about something, and they make a subculture from a movie.
Right.
That's like, somebody making a subculture on Wakanda.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? The Matrix is not, this is not real. It's not a real thing. Or else, if it was a real thing, why are they not why everybody ain't secretly organizing to violently rebel?
Right.
Which is what the Matrix really was about. Why do they take something from a movie and use it to do what is it they do it?
So the metaphor in it is that, like Baqua said, the blue pill means you're going with the flow or whatever society's creating. Right. The red pill means that you're fighting against it. That's where you get passport bros from. Mm-hmm. That's where you get it even made the news. That devil, Leonardo DiCaprio, refuses to marry a woman over 25 years old. Mm-hmm. The minute they turn 24, he dumps them. Like, his latest woman now is 19, and he keeps 8. And they're saying the minute she turns 24, he's done with her. Right? And they're basically saying, so they're basically saying
we hate women, right? Y'all say we hate women. Meanwhile, all of your bros love Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's like he giving him a girlfriend term, like a presidential term. You got till you 24. That's it.
Damn.
Right.
Damn.
But my question is around, sir. Okay, and of course in this battle, in this battle, Israel's gonna join the battle, and you know they go overboard, right? And they are on the front line, and you know, shaming women and so forth, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So okay, is the red pill, blue pill thing our subculture, or is this I.S.U.P.K?
Okay, I believe because everybody who speaks on it reference back to that brother who passed away, Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels. Okay.
They call him the Godfather as the one who woke them up. But the thing is, he woke up to no results though. That's the issue. Like there's no solution to the problem. It's just, you know, your leftover woman terms. Here's a certain terms they use: high value man, leftover woman, 304s, referring to the woman. A 304, because I might have to break it down for me. A 304 is an old term. If you turn it upside down the beeper, it says hoe. So but the thing that kind of triggered me.
Women. Them niggas hate women.
So the thing that triggered me on it is there's brothers doing it, right? But there's also heathens talking on sisters. That's the part that triggered me on it. Because now they calling sisters 304, which is they are what they are. But it kind of annoys me that heathens are doing it, but there's no solution at all.
Okay, this thing is layered. That sounds like a very layered topic. Sisters are whores because the heathens are whores.
Right.
Because sisters don't try to be sisters. Every black woman is trying to be a white woman. It's trying to be Kardashian. It's trying to be, you know, Lauren London. It's trying to be some Edomite in the industry. That's the standard, whether they want to admit it or not. Right? Even them actresses. Now, I watched one recently, an interview with Viola Davis. That's the very dark-skinned, strong-featured sister who acted
Conan,
the homie one. Was it the Woman King? Right? Who acted in the Woman King, and you know, you are smart, you are beautiful, you know who that is, right? And she was running down her whole resume and how much awards she done won. And at this stage in her life, she should be paid just as much as Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Name me a Meryl Streep movie. Anybody. You see my point?
Right.
That's the standard. Regardless. Even the sisters in the hip hop and the rap, they trying to get what kind of money?
Hollywood.
Taylor Swift money, Miley Cyrus money. That's who they're trying to get, but they turn out the mouth wagging the tail like a dog.
Right.
Like, so when they talk about, you know, sisters as hoes, our sisters are trying to be whores because the heathens are whores.
Right.
That's right. Like, we always chase after the heathen. We've always wanted to be them. We never ever wanted to be us. You get the point?
Right.
Like, we rather be them than us. We drug dealers, but we Scarface, Tony Montana,
right.
Hoover, this one, that one. We not, you know, it's not like we carving out our own culture with the thing.
Right.
We just taking their shit and painting it black and thinking that that's our culture, when that ain't our culture. You get the point?
Okay.
So that's the first thing right there, right? And of course, black men love heathen women. Why?
Because they're hoes.
Because they're hoes. You understand?
Okay.
They're the best hoes you could find. They're the best hoes for the money. They're the best 304. They're 304, 305, and 306. If that could translate to something else, I don't know. But that's really where it starts. It starts with that. In addition to that, these men who talk about the red pill and the blue pill, they really hate black women and by extension hate their people, hate themselves.
Right.
You get the point? Now, as far as the leftover women, stuff like that, there is an what do they mean by leftover women? Go ahead.
It's actually a person who's past their prime, basically. Like you're left over because you should have been married or you should have been off the market. Now you're 38 years old looking for a man. Where that man who's 38 also has options of people who are fresh in their prime over you. So now they look at you as left over.
Okay. No, it's definitely a cruel thing to say to a woman. Is there truth in it? Yes, there is truth in it, right? And why do we have to suffer leftover women? Why do we have to suffer leftover women?
Because Christian churches taught them that they didn't need a man, and they don't go after a man until they're left over.
I'll take that. Anybody else?
Because they're taught in society to put their careers first. They put careers over marriage. They put careers over having children.
Okay. That's more a symptom of it. You understand? That's more a symptom of it. You was more on it with the Christianity. You understand what I'm saying? That's where you're more on it, the Christianity aspect of it. What you're really looking at is your civil rights movement, right? The civil rights movement and the feminist movement coming out of it. Because before civil rights movement was there leftover women, quote unquote leftover women. Before civil rights movement was there red pill and blue pill, right? Before civil rights movement, who was the hoe?
Marilyn Monroe.
Give him a hand. That's the closest example. That was the hoe. You get what? That long hair and blue eyes, that meant something to a man. And that usually meant easy. You get the point? And it was clear then that was the hoe, because why? That was our enemy. That was our oppressor. You get the point?
Right.
But now, but now we all equal.
Right.
So I guess if we all equal and we all the same, then our men don't become animals like the oppressor.
And
our women don't become hoes like the oppressor's woman. You get the point?
Come.
So you could focus with me. You're gonna stay there for a second. I'm gonna find another seat in this way. All right. So so now once again, it's very layered. It's a very layered thing, right? Now the red pill, blue pill situation. Red pill being so-called alpha male, blue pill being beta male. And to them, what does that mean?
To who, sir?
To the people who, promote or propagate that type of teaching.
I mean, it's like, if I could, when I watch it, it's just a bunch of weak men who found a route to look masculine. Because it's nothing masculine about what they say, first of all, right? But they're weak, and they've been punked by these women, and now they are just, if you listen to them speak, they're using the same terms, the same rhetoric over and over again, every one of them. I mean, and the thing about it, you could correct me if I'm wrong, is it's kind of like bullying, right? In the sense that I know that if I put a microphone in in front of a sister, she's gonna say something stupid. I go into the conversation knowing that.
Okay.
So to me, it's like, I know you think like a child. Let me show the world you think like a child.
Okay.
Versus, I need to correct you. I need to fix you because you think like a child. I don't need to expose you because everybody knows you're foolish.
Okay, so but what are they saying that part? Or
they're not saying that part.
Okay, what are they saying about the red pill and the blue pill part? Like, how do they translate that?
Okay.
Right. Somebody else who Genesis 3 and 7.
All right. They are saying basically the blue pill, or what they call simps, are enabling the poor behavior from women, right? Versus the red pill, which is alpha, is now waking up and is pushing back and telling these women that they have no value.
Okay.
So the red pill is
the red pill is rejecting the woman, basically.
The woman and the blue pill men.
And the blue pill men are accepting what she's doing.
Right. The blue pills are saying,
I'm too much.
The blue pills will be saying, she's a queen and a goddess. She's been hurt. She needs to be fixed.
Rising.
Right.
Grand rising queen.
Right.
That's that.
And also, here's the flip side. Now, on the other side, the women have developed theirs. And you might have heard it recently online. They call women who cater to men pick-me's now.
Okay. Every sister should be a pick-me.
That's right.
You should be a pick-me. Else you're gonna get left over, like nigga said. Hey, when you go to the basketball court, and you want to get picked. Right. Remember them days? And you're the last one. So our bro can't be a goddamn pick.
Right.
That would be pick me.
So that's the flip side of it. The pick me versus the strong, independent woman. You know, so that's their version of red pill, blue pill. So it's an ongoing war. It's foolish.
And what are they saying? I know you had mentioned something earlier about who needs who. They were saying something about who needs who.
Right. So of course the women are saying they don't need a man. Right. They the popular term I noticed everybody saying was, I want one, but I don't need one.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the other side, the men are basically saying, you know, if you don't want us, we'll go to who wants us, which is not necessarily wrong. Right. I just think the whole point of putting if you put
you gotta be careful with that part when you say you don't think they're wrong.
Well,
because, go ahead.
Well, I say I don't think they're wrong in terms of if you don't like, even the Lord, if you tell the Lord you don't need him, he steps back and says, "Go ahead."
Right.
And you end up in slavery.
Okay, I see what you're saying with that part, but when you say, okay, you don't think they're wrong, now you know, it's you gonna have to clear that up because they're not going to see what you say. Right? There's a general. Anytime you're breaking down something on the streets for the brothers who are priests who teach, you always wanna factor in the filter through which your public is hearing. You understand? Hearing what you say. You understand what I'm saying? You want to factor that in because you could say something meaning one thing, but there's a filter out there because of the internet, because of the radio, because of the TV that make your words now mean something else.
Right. So
you have to break it down. You got to simplify it for them. So when you say, you know, you agree with that, you can't leave it open because now you're basically saying it's okay to go to the other races, which is what they mean. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Leaving the woman behind doesn't mean we are not entertaining this behavior. Leaving her behind means I'm going to the Philippines.
Right.
Leaving her behind means I'm going to the Dominican Republic, even though we know that's the tribe of Simeon. Jake in the world is not looking at her like a black woman.
Right.
If he did, he would not have gone there.
Right.
You get the point? You understand what I'm saying? Because, okay, this is another thing. Ain't no passport brothers going to Jamaica.
Right.
Ain't no passport brothers going to Haiti.
Right.
You get the point? That whole thing is driven by a certain amount of lust. Right. And it's lust through the oppressor's hand. Right. You get the point? It's his version of what pretty is and what beautiful is, and it's once again driven by lust. So now, okay, let's start with the red pill, blue pill thing, right? No, let's go back to the 304 thing, the leftover woman thing, who we aspire to be. So give me Genesis, what the scripture for Genesis, 3 and 7?
Come, sir. Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together.
Right, and that's so heavy. What's the first line say?
And the eyes of them were both open.
And their eyes were both open. Right? What is the red pill supposed to do?
Wake you up.
So open your eyes, right?
Right.
When Adam and Eve's eyes were open, what did they experience?
And they knew that they were naked.
Mm-hmm.
And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
So when they woke up, quote unquote, not actually waking up from sleep, but when their eyes were open, what did Adam and Eve experience? It's the same thing we're talking about.
Realize they were uncovered.
If I give you the hint, you're gonna get it. You're right, but I'll leave that alone.
That they weren't like the other nations.
That's more, and because they wouldn't like the other nations, what did they experience?
And like shame, embarrassment.
They experience shame. They experience embarrassment, and it's not a righteous embarrassment. The scripture says there's a certain shame. Somebody find that thing apocrypha for me, all right? Okay. There's a certain shame to be, rightful. You get the point? They experience the shame that, let me tell you the shame they experience. Remember going to school and you having to wear
Yep.
Pro-cats. You say yep before the example. Yeah, school was a whole shit. You have to wear some pro-cats or something that wasn't as popular. And then somebody else comes in, or 3 or 4 people come in with the popular thing, whether it's the Jordans or the Reeboks or whatever it is they're wearing now. And you look down at your feet and your shoes is brand new. You took them out of the box this morning. But you looking at them and you feel ashamed. You get the point? That's what Adam and Eve felt. Adam and Eve felt the shame that comes with covetousness, which is, you know, a jealousy that's not righteous.
Right.
You get the point? You're coveting the other thing. Come on, what's your
Nah, that's heavy because I used to smack out getting fights over.
You was the one who was ashamed, or you was the one who was ashamed of other people?
As soon as they said something about my
you there having flashbacks. That's what Adam and Eve experienced. And unfortunately, these brothers, most of them who promote this type of thought pattern are well-to-do in Esau society. You get it, boy? You're not going to find a brother who, you know, he working a hard 40 hours, 9 to 5, you know, knocking some concrete or doing something that's he really struggling to make ends meet. He don't have time to live in fantasy land. You get what I'm saying? The well-to-do one. He is plugged into Esau society, so he looks at himself as a dark-skinned white man. You get the point?
Right.
So, of course, why the hell am I putting up with this old nappy head knucklehead over here? You understand? That's his thought pattern. But another brother who is, you know, he really humping out there. He's not plugged into Esau society. He's, you know, a lower slave. Her bullshit is not that jarring to him. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that much of an issue. You get it? Go ahead, Coach.
Counsel, I have the precept when you're ready, sir.
Which one?
The one in the Apocrypha.
Okay. So you'll understand that's the shame Adam and Eve felt. Adam and Eve felt the shame of not being like the other nations around. Right? And they sowed fig leaves. The leaves are the philosophies of the other nations. The leaves come from trees. The trees represent the other nations around. That's in Ezekiel, I think the 38th chapter. The 34th chapter, right? Go ahead.
Like, so it's heavy you say that about them thinking that they're a dark-skinned white man, because one of the things I find in the whole battle is the supposed red pills will attack women, right? And they'll say, well, in your youth, you were with Pookie and Ray Ray and Tyrone. They start using those rhetorics.
Because
versus being with a high-value man.
Once again, Pookie and Ray and Tyrone is not plugged in. So they're not looking at themselves as, you know, a white man in society, a CEO. You get the point? Right. But the high-value man, he thinks he's better than Pookie and Ray and Tyrone. So he deserves somebody in his bed who he thinks is better than whoever Pookie and Ray and Tyrone have. Right. So he now has to go on a campaign to trash his own people. Right. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And one is the shame. He's ashamed of who he is. Right? What's you have?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 21. For there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame which is glory and grace.
There's a shame that bringeth sin, and there's a shame which is glory and grace. The shame that bringeth sin is the same shame Adam and Eve had. That's why they went to sow fig leaves. They went to take on the philosophies of the other nation. Otherwise, do me a favor, hit this 5 years. That the one on the outside, hit it twice. Really easy. 1. Yeah, you good. I didn't think anything. You don't hit it. 1 more time. Yeah, it's off. Right? That's the shame that Adam and Eve felt when they ran to the other nations. You get the point? They ran to, when I say the other nations, they adopted their philosophy and tried to cover up with that philosophy because now daddy's home. It's like you ain't supposed to be out at a certain party or in the mall or somewhere, and you out, and then you see your father's car pull up. What will you do automatically?
Hide.
Where?
Anywhere you can.
In the crowd. you're gonna hide in the crowd,
Right.
because your father, you ain't see him in him. You seen the car, so you know that nigga already in here. So you had to, hey, let me that quote there for a second. Let me your hat, your head down, because you trying to be part of them. That's Adam and Eve in God. You get the point? There's no trouble coming, because that shame brought forth sin. You understand? That shame brought forth sin. But there's another shame that brings forth righteousness. Break that down for me. Where you at again?
Book of Ecclesiasticus 4:21, sir. Okay. Ecclesiasticus chapter.
You got the right scriptures down too. Please.
Book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 21.
Everything we went over from Genesis 2, all right? Ecclesiasticus what? 4 and what?
4 and 21, sir. Okay. For there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame which is glory and grace.
Go ahead, I'm listening to it.
Would the righteous shame be like, say if you get a compliment, like maybe on your fly garments, and then you like, oh, okay, you get so many, it's like overwhelming. Are you ashamed that everybody's hearing all these compliments coming your way, or
no? Because that's a personal thing.
Okay,
that's more personal, right? That's your personality. You don't really like too much of praise. You just, you acted a little bit more low key. There's another person who like that shit. Like, oh, they thank you. They like the praise. Eat more. If you don't praise them, it's a problem. You get the point? It's a personal thing. Just think more, across the board.
Counselor, is it when you get corrected on something, and then you come back and you over exceed what you got corrected on?
Over exceed? What do you mean?
Like you get corrected on something and they expect you to do X, Y, and Z. Now you did, A, B, C through X, Y, and Z because of the correction.
And you saying that's the shame? What is it?
The shame that brings glory.
That's not the best example of it. Okay. Let's stay right there with Isaac. Come on, warrior.
Is the shame that brings glory, glory being the result, the shame being the trigger that made you take action?
Okay, I think you're thinking about it in one way, and it could be that way too, but there's another way that's more basic, right? There's more basic. Let's stay on the same thing with the passport borrowers, red pill, blue pill, high value men, right? Who typically go for even women, right? They feel ashamed because they're not in power. The oppressor makes them feel like a beta male. So they have to make themselves feel like an alpha. And in feeling like an alpha, they have to now down the sisters, right? And in doing that, they bridge them. They use all that to bridge themselves to the heathen's bed. That's a shame that brings forth sin. Take that same situation. The oppressor makes you feel less than adequate, right? And there's a shame that comes with that. How could that shame bring forth glory?
When you go forth and build your nation up.
That's it. Now that shame makes you stand with your people even more.
Right.
It makes you defend your people instead of attacking your people.
Right.
Like that whole red pill, blue pill thing, the passport brothers, it's a really, you can't beat them, so you join them. They're really sellouts. They're just the nigger section of the Christian church. They're just, they're just the black white supremacists, basically. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Slock it. If I could get a breakdown on this, when I wondered if it could be a precept.
Check that marker too, or write it fatter. You might have to write it fatter. It's a little too thick. All right? I don't think anybody could see that. Go ahead,
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 34. Awake to righteousness and not sin. For some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame.
Where are they again?
Book of 1 Corinthians 15 and 34.
Okay. Let me catch you. All right, hold on one second. Go ahead.
Calm. Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 34. Awake to righteousness and not sin, for some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame.
Okay. And you want to use this to tie in with the other one?
Calm, but I'm not exactly sure what of the breakdown of the whole thing.
I get you. Okay. Give me verse 33.
33. Calm. Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners.
All right. Evil communications corrupt good manners. What does that mean?
Somebody telling you can eat pork. Somebody telling you you can divorce your wife, husband.
On topic. Those are good examples too. But
Calm.
on topic. Give me on topic.
That our sisters they trash or something.
That's evil communication. And because of that, it corrupts good manners, which is what? And good manners in this case would be what?
Like I said, would it be wrong to say evil communication could be social media influencers? Like, because they're communicating, because they set a lot of trends, even this whole topic it started with one person bashing women and just grew.
Okay, I'm very wary of blaming social media influencers, because social media influencers are they're like internet politicians. Politicians are prostitutes, right? You look at politician in the dictionary, it damn near tell you they are paid liars. It damn near says so they're gonna say whatever it takes to get paid. You understand? They're gonna say whatever it takes to get paid. Kanye West needed a booster after Adidas and the rest of them, right? So Jews is black, white man this, that, the other. And as soon as everything kind of level off, you go right back to a white woman. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Social media influencers, they don't believe none of the shit they be talking about. They don't believe none of the shit they be talking about. They know their pictures is fake. They know everything they do is fake. But it's easy money, so they do it. So I'm very wary of blaming them. Now, they do have a certain amount of culpability in it. But I'm not going to attack them like they're the root. They ain't the root of the thing. You get the point? They absolutely not the root of the thing. They just understand what makes money. And they say it, right? You could become a social influencer by tomorrow. You go on there and drop 10 content tonight that's just controversial. And you know it'll make money, but you know the wrong to say. By tomorrow, brother, you'll be trending. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different with that part. All right? So what's the good manners now from this evil communication? What's the good manners that is corrupted?
Basically, what you've learned is the truth.
Still kind of far off.
Though we can uplift the sisters, the opposite of it.
Your wording is what's messing up. You're right. Your wording.
Suffering our sisters.
Yeah, your wording. You're not suffering. You're definitely not suffering. But you're both right in the spirit of it. What would be the good manners? What's good manners? You walk in the door. It's good manners.
You greet everybody.
From this evil communication here, what is the good manners that's corrupted?
Speaking good of the sisters.
No. Because what is speaking good of the sisters?
Just dealing with our sisters.
No, you said speaking good. I need to break that down because remember there's an audience listening. What is the speaking good of the sisters?
Oh, Salakia, how our sisters are virtuous.
Okay, no, because they're not.
Right.
So then what we talking about? Go ahead.
I mean, I could be old, but talking about like speaking good of them, meaning like you said, they not, but they're in here. Like
No, they're not in here. We're not talking about women in here. We're not talking about women in here. This is equipment for outside.
Right.
All right, let me ask you, sisters. Sisters, what was the good manners that was given to you that made you be who you are? Any one of you? The teachings. Okay, once again, y'all put a ton of icing on the cake, boy. Y'all just sweet. I mean, you're just nice and teachings and this. I'm gonna help you all out. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be all about. I was gonna say the good manners of them changing now is knowing the judgment that they did wrong.
Okay, you're still just okay. The good manners is correction. That's the good manners. Shut your mouth. Sit down. Shamai. Quiet. Quiet. That's the good manners. Because after they come and they say, the water for that. Now they understand it. But if I listen to that evil communication, it's going to corrupt my good manners to correct her. And instead, now do what?
Tell her that the black woman is God.
Tell her the black woman is God. That's the other side of the password bros. The other side of leftover woman and trash woman or whatever they be saying is, you are God. It's like a pendulum swinging from one extreme to the next and never getting to the root of the problem. You get the point? They're picking a side that's far enough where they don't have to get their hands to it. Oh, she's trash. She's God. She's leftover woman. She's the beginning of the earth. You get the point? Who's coming here in the middle and getting boots on the ground, getting down in the mud to clean her to hell up? That evil communication, it corrupts those good manners. You get the point? Go ahead.
It's like say, will the precept for that be a gift spoils the heart?
What would be how you would tie it in? How would you relate it?
Because you basically when you are basically giving rewards and stuff like that, it makes it more evil.
When you say giving rewards,
because a gift is the option of a gift would be the opposite of a correction. A correction gift means okay, you're doing a good job versus correction means look, you need to tighten up.
Well, sometimes the correction is the gift. Sometimes for all of us in here, the gift was correction.
Right.
Go ahead.
Can I also tie on the same subject with what Satan told Eve in the garden when he was like, you will be as gods.
That's evil communication. And it corrupted good manners. You get the point? Because now she heard that, she went to Adam with some left shit, and Adam, again, corrupt his manners. Right? He tried to stand on the shit, but he couldn't. You're going to have to be able to stand on the thing and correct it. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to correct it at the same time. As you pointed out, the foul shit she doing, you're going to have to correct her. You're going to have to. Now, remember, correct ain't just saying you evil, you this, you that. Correcting is straightening somebody up. You're going to have to show them what's the right thing to do. And them niggas there, they ain't showing nobody the right thing to do. When they go to them foreign countries, they're just buying prostitutes. They're just buying whores. That's really what they're doing. Right. They're not going and marry no lawyer or no doctor or no mayor or no older woman or something, not even a chief of police. They're going and marrying some disenfranchised sister on the beach or some heathen somewhere who poor, who your money could buy her whole village. And you just taking her, and of course she's going to listen to you and obey you because you're paying everything. She'd be simple not to do it. Countries obey one another country because they pay everything. So what the hell do you think this woman gonna do? You think she's doing it because you so great? Right. That's the other part of it. You think these heathens are obeying you because you're such a righteous, good man? You a piece of filth. You just have enough money to make shit look like it shine.
Right.
That's just all it is. You get the point? Okay. So now really, they both beta, but not beta by my standards. They both beta by America's standards. You get the point? America is really the mirror of the Greek society, the Egyptian society, which is a really hierarchical society, not in the spirit of the Lord. You get the point? Not in the spirit of the Lord, but in the spirit of carnality, which is where the alpha and the beta comes in. Because in the oppressor society, what's the relationship between the alpha and the beta?
The alpha eats the beta.
Or that's right, but something else.
Predator and prey.
Same thing.
Master and slave.
That's basically it. It's really this. You are going to make this person your slave. You're gonna make this person your punk, and that's what cements the relationship of you, the beta or the bitch, and I'm the alpha. You get the point?
Mm-hmm.
When on the right hand side, in the spirit of righteousness under the Lord, what's the brother who is over the other brother? What's the relationship? Let me see where you all after this one.
A shepherd.
Well, you all on these words. You gotta break that down.
I would say someone who leads, and if you need a knock on the head, he's gonna give you that, proverbial knock on the head.
Don't say no.
Slap.
Don't knock nobody in the head. Okay. Yes, but no.
Can you say it again?
What's the relationship on the right hand side? With the spirit of the Lord, with one brother who is over another brother.
Rank.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. What's the relationship? Like we just described the relationship in the world between the alpha and the beta, right? What's the relationship in truth?
I would say more. It's not the same, but both of them serve, and both of them serve each other.
One knows the way to go, and he's teaching the other one. And the one below him is following the voice.
That's true too.
Protector.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I ain't got the scripture right here, but where it say servants obey your masters, the same thing,
No. What's what I'm saying?
So I was gonna say like a protector. Like this, I believe. I could be wrong. General Muhammad broke it down. He was breaking down the line will lay with the lamb.
Okay, that's the lion and the lamb is us destroying the alpha and the beta.
Right.
Because before the spirit of Christ, the lion does what to the lamb?
Eats the lamb.
He eats the lamb. Now with the spirit of Christ, the lion and the lamb can get along together. And it's using the lion and the lamb metaphor, this is not talking about the tribes or anything, but the relationship. The relationship is like a lion and a lamb. It's just really people we're talking about. There's somebody who always devours the other person, who destroys the other person. That's alpha and beta. You get the point? That's just it. That's Esau society. And they're fine with that. They're totally fine with that thing. You get the point? With the spirit of Christ, that does not happen. Brotherhood. So now break it down. Now you're on to it. You gotta break it down for them.
The man who's over top of the other brother is showing
outranks him.
The man who outranks the other brother, he's showing true brotherhood by guiding him in the right way.
Okay. I'll take that.
Straighten them out.
I'll take that. Anybody else?
Come.
Uh-huh.
I would say it's brotherhood, and it's also showing the continuation of building our nation, so they can repeat the same thing. Like he will pass this way of correcting his brother on to the next younger generation. It keeps our nation.
Say that one more time.
Like basically, the man that outranks the other brother is showing him the way. So when it's time for him to rank out, he can pass that tradition on to the younger generation to keep our nation going. That's all I'm trying to.
All right. Anybody else? Come on.
Would it be wrong to say like a father and son relationship?
You wouldn't be wrong, but I wouldn't explain it like that to somebody who is young in truth. To somebody who is young in the truth is very calm, extremely calm. So if you explain it like that, they will say, how would it look to them? How would they process it in their mind?
It's like you saying you they father. And
so what does that mean?
Dude, like you just taking orders.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Which is okay. That's a function of the rank. Servants obey your masters, right? That's a function of the rank. The spirit of it is different. You get the point?
Is it like an apprentice where the younger is being built up to take over one day, possibly?
Oh, that's true, right? And also too, to what you're saying, somebody who is young in the truth does not understand a father-son relationship. They don't understand it. Because if they did, you see the first thing you said, that's kind of like the last thing. That's really the last thing of it. There's so much more that goes before orders and following orders. So much more. All right.
So I can take another shot at it.
Go ahead.
It's in Esau's world, the alpha swallows the beta. It eats him up.
Mm-hmm.
In the truth, the man who outranks the other man, who's showing brotherhood, he has compassion for his brother. He's not going to be an animal towards his brother.
So that means
he loves his brother.
You're right. You're right. Let me give it to you. Oh, you're right in. You're right in the neighborhood. Let me just bring it right home to you. All right. Okay. Give me Luke 9 and 43. Sit down. Luke 9 and 43.
At the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 43. And they were all amazed at the mighty power of God. But while they wondered everyone at all things which Jesus did, he said unto his disciples, let these sayings sink down into your ears, for the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men.
All right. So what is he telling them? What's Christ telling them?
It's like, I'm going to die for you. I'm giving my life for you.
He didn't say nothing about for you. He just telling them what is about to happen. He's about to be delivered to die. He's about to fall into the hands of men. All right. He's about to know, bad. It's going to be bad for him, right? Go ahead.
Verse 45. But they understood not the same, and it was hid from them, that they perceived it not. And they feared to ask him of that same.
Right, which is again showing what? Okay, break this part down. Verse 45. What is that? What does that verse 45 actually say? Read it again.
Luke chapter 9, verse 45. But they understood not the same, and it was hid from them, and they perceived it not. And they feared to ask him of that same.
They were saying when he told them what he said, they didn't understand it, and they were scared to ask him the meaning of what he was saying.
And what does that indicate about them?
The young, the truth.
The young. That's a young man's mistake. To never get clarity on shit. Because of fear, which is another young man's mistake. You understand?
Oh,
just, youth. It happens. Right? And of course, fear because Christ was what? Jolly, like a preacher? He was an austere man. That's in the parable. I fear thee because you are an austere man. You get the point? So of course, he done checked them so much times before. He said this thing. It's like, what are you talking about? Ask him. Nigga, you ask him. They don't want to ask him nothing. They rather all just remain confused because they don't want to get checked. Right. This is who Christ had. It was rough. It was rough. These were brothers who rolled with him, started his mission and lasted only 3 years. They didn't have a whole ton of time with him. They didn't grow with him. Right. so they didn't understand a whole lot, right? So they didn't understand what this was here, neither did they try to ask it. All right, keep going.
Go to verse 46. Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. And Jesus, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child.
So read it again one more time.
Verse 46. Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. And Jesus, perceiving the thought of their hearts, took a child.
Right? So there arose a reasoning among them. Right? That which of them would be the greatest. Right? Break that part down for me.
They wanted to know, they asked, which one of us is high ranked out of all of them?
Right. All right. They're starting to reason among themselves now that, okay, well, which one of us is, who's in charge?
Right.
Right? Which one of us is in charge? And of course, Christ, because he's over them all, he understands their spirit. Because he just said something and they act like they didn't know what he's talking about. And he already know they didn't want to come ask him. He already knows it. It's, you already know. Once you're in that position, you already know you ain't gonna say nothing. God can't force you to do what you're supposed to do, right? But now he hearing their conversation and he's like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. You get the point? This is what's going on. Hold on, let me let you know where to go from here, all right? Hold on. Okay, this is definitely the same account. Let me skip somewhere else. Hold on. Bear with me. Give me Mark 9. This is the same story, all right? It's just a certain verse I want to.
Okay.
Somebody hold Luke 22. Yeah, that's what I want. Luke 22. And start at 20.
Okay.
Real quick.
Book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 20. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you.
Right. And this is of course after that last supper, which is the Passover. Go ahead.
But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table.
Once again, he knows his men, so he already know what Judas is about to do. You understand? He already know he's simple. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And truly the Son of Man goeth, as it was determined. But woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed.
Right? Same thing. He just already know what's going to happen to Judas, right? Go ahead.
Verse 23. And they began to inquire among themselves, which of them it was that should do this thing. And there was also a strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest.
Right? And of course, this is another time again, they talking among themselves, who's going to be counted the greatest. Because of course, he's saying one of them is going to be a traitor. So they know that's the least. Well, who's going to be the greatest? Who's the next one after Yahushua, right? Go ahead.
Verse 25. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. And they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors.
Right, benefactors, because they benefit. They only seek to their own benefit, which is the alpha male, beta male. It's the whole fraternity spirit.
Right.
You understand? They see how they deal with them pledges. They turn them pledges into straight up slaves for how much ever weeks. You get the point? Right. Straight slaves sometimes get physically putting hands on them brothers, injuring them brothers. They do the same thing in the military, in certain college sports and professional sports. They have a whole hazing season. It's that whole spirit of it where you just bitch somebody up and punk somebody down, right? He's saying now the kings of these Gentiles exercise lordship over them, right? Which is, you do I tell you, serve, I'm not lifting a finger, blah, 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 right? It's Egypt, it's Greeks, it's the Romans, it's America. You get the point? Go ahead.
And they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors.
Go ahead.
But ye shall not be so.
But he's saying you're not supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to be like them. Go ahead.
But he that is greatest among you.
And listen, on the same spirit with the Gentiles and the benefactors and lordship, those same red pill, blue pill passport brothers, how do they treat the Filipino woman? Do they, dress up and bring her to America and take her to the club? How do they treat her? A slave, which is what they want. They don't want a sister. They don't want my sister, my spouse, which is what Solomon said. You get the point? They don't want that. They want, go upstairs and get naked, come cook my food, blah, 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 blah. They want a slave, a servant, that type of spirit. You get the point? Now, it can have that on the right-hand side, but it's a totally different spirit with it. You get the point? Go ahead.
Come. But ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger.
Go ahead.
And he that is chief, as he that doeth serve.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat, or he that serveth? Is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth.
You understand? Like that's why I say the father-son example is not a good example for somebody who's young in the truth, because they'll just say a father tells a son what to do. The father tells the son what to do for a reason. What's the reason?
Protection.
No. That's true, but that's not what I'm talking about.
To keep on this topic, to keep them from learning corrupt communication.
No. Go ahead. You just gonna say something? No. There's one reason. You'll have young kids. When the kids start talking and having their mind their own, you're gonna understand. Go ahead.
Out of love.
No.
They don't know what they're doing.
You were supposed to know this shit. Go ahead.
We don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about.
Okay. No. It's way more basic than that.
Can you ask the question one more time? What we show?
Still ain't gonna get it. It's very simple. You tell him what to do because you pay the bills. That you pay for the electric that he plays his game on. You pay for the water that he takes a shower with. You pay for the clothes he puts on his back. Is this something strange? You pay your parents say that shit? Them shoes you put on your foot. That mouth you talking back to me with. You pay for the toothbrush to brush that mouth. Them eyes you're rolling. The glasses you're putting on them. Did you pay for them? Do what the hell I tell you to do. That's why you tell your children what to do. Because you serve them. Why do you go to slave? Because of you? When's the last time you bought a pair of shoes for yourself? When? When's the last time you buy something for them? A few hours ago? You serve them. That's why you're in charge. That's being alpha. These bitches here going all the way to Philippines to find some 4'5" woman who you could find a bad broad somewhere here, somewhere in the barrios and the reservations, if you would only serve them. If you would only decide to be the greatest among, you serve them. But they're too weak to serve. I'll do all the servicing. I'll do it. I'll correct you all the way to glory. Go ahead.
It's like there's one at the Dunkin' Donuts around my way. It's like
there's only one shot. You might want to scan. Yeah, scan the feed. You see how the quarterback when he dressed back here? When you scan, you see the little triangles that be coming out. You gotta scan the feed. It's never only one, brother. It's never only one. Just keep that shit in mind. It's never only one. If you're building a company, you're not gonna have one manager. You're not gonna have one executive something. Every company have about 10 managers. You know why? Because if one don't show up, the company can still run. All right, but that's another topic. But that's the spirit behind these brothers here. They lord over people like the kings of the Gentiles, which is why the alpha male, beta male shit comes in. Right? That's extremely emasculating to have those thought patterns in your mind. Even towards the men who they say are beta. You could tell a brother, you're weak, and you can make him strong. You could show him how to be strong, versus making him an equal enemy with the woman who you hate her behavior. Or do you just really hate her and him? Which is really what it is. Right. Why? Okay, what's the real problem with those red pill, blue pill people? What's the problem according to them?
They weak.
Second?
They are weak.
Okay, that's the diagnosis. That's after we analyze them. But from their mouth, what's the problem? What's the issue?
Like the issue is, well, on the red pill side, the issue is they're too good for these women.
Okay, so what's the problem? If they're too good, should they be not that good?
No,
their problem is black women.
Right.
Why you have an issue with the beta male? You're not having sex with him, are you? But why does he become an enemy? You get the point?
Right.
Their issue is they hate the woman as much as the man. They hate themselves. You get the point? They could correct this woman, and they could help that brother be strong. And there's no alpha or beta. There's a brother who you owe your life to, which is a way better, it has more value and honor in that system. You get the point? Versus alpha and beta. That alpha and beta is halfway homosexual. It's like top and bottom.
Right.
You get the point? It's ridiculous. It's a weak, standpoint. It comes from a weak position. It comes from a weak place, and really, you're just not strong enough to do a job. So you rather take a flight and think it's going to change all your problems. When it's not. It's not going to change your problem. That broad going to reach the 45 and take all your goddamn money and make them little slanty and half, whatever children you make with her hate you the same way Keisha would have. You get the point? What are you going to do now? Fly to Mars and think you're going to find a different woman? No, you're just going to have to correct her. You're just going to have to get strong and correct her. But you can't correct her because Satan can't cast out Satan. You full of demons yourself. You full of it. You get the point? And that's why you think you could pay your way out of something and you can't. You can't. You fix yourself, then go fix your people. In here, that's what we specialize in. Israelite School at I.S.U.P.K, we build men.
Right.
We build men. We build men. And by extension, sisters get built as well. You want to fix black women, fix the brothers.
Right.
Don't alienate the brothers. Don't make them feel like, there's some kind of bait or whatever. You could correct the brother and show him the strong way. Now, of course, if he rejected, he rejected. But at least there's the option to walk in the other path. You understand? At least show him that. Now, if he reject that, that's on him. He choosing that weakness, and that's on him. Ain't no sweat, brother. You ain't strong enough for this. But to create a whole movement about alpha and beta and who need who, how come there's no movement on we don't need the oppressor?
Right.
How come there's never anything saying we don't need the white man?
Right.
You get the point?
Right.
But you need him because you want to be him. All right? You good on that, warrior?
Come.
Any more questions?
Khan, sir. Salakia. There was a question. I'm trying to get the name. They asked, aren't the Sudanese the real Egyptians? And it's
these Sudanese people, it's people in South Sudan, not them ones who actually fighting. There are certain tribes in there that the Egyptians come from. The who's Egypt again? Mitzrayim, Matazario, right? That those tribes are I think it's the Maasai tribe. Them tall ones that be jumping and doing this thing here. They're just jumping in the air. Right? Them tall as shit. Those are the people who would be Matazario, right? Them people who in there is a mix, especially the ones who fighting. They are a mix of Kush, right? They are a strong mix of Kush and maybe some of the other northern Africans who got in there in power, and of course been the oppressors' puppets in there for damn near quarter of a decade, maybe half a decade. All right.
Concert. There's another one from Ava and Machaya. Yahanna says, "Can I email you guys a picture of my cousin? I'm disgusted that he married a white woman. I need a general breakdown on how to feel."
Okay, you don't email the picture of him because before you came into the truth, nobody emailed a picture of you smoking that blunt or, with your head between your knees, right? Once again, you don't have to emasculate somebody. You don't have to. You understand? You ain't special because give me all your righteousnesses as a filthy rag, please. Right? And then, sister, I hope you take. Is this a sister, right? Or brother?
I'm not sure, sir.
What's your name?
It's two people's name. Is
no sweat. The person who just asked to email a picture of their cousin, whether your brother or sister, you just take this with in stride and take this with good faith, right? You don't have to emasculate somebody because they don't want to listen to you. Now, of course, we show pictures of leaders who do it because the platform is different. Your cousin is not influencing a whole nation of people. You understand? He's not doing that. But when Jose Canseco do it, he's influencing every Dominican. He's not Jose Canseco. What's the one who bleaches face? Sammy Sosa. When Sammy Sosa does it, he's influencing everybody in Cuba. You get the point? It's different when we talk about these celebrities who do it. Right? I wanted to talk about that Jonathan Majors guy. Right? That Jonathan Majors, everybody's sorry for him and this and that. I'm kind of sorry for him too. However, I'm not as sorry for him as if it would have been a sister that lied. Right? You celebrities, you all like to play in the snow a little too goddamn much.
Right.
And really, you should count your blessings. You shouldn't even be mad you lost a contract because you could have lost your life.
Right.
A white woman said you touched her. Cities have burned down for it. Tulsa, Oklahoma was started because a white woman lied.
Right.
Rosewood was started because a white woman lied.
Right.
Well, forget about Emmett Till. A white woman lied. You see what happened to Bill Clinton, nigga? But you think because you and Michael B. Jordan, you're alpha and beta and alpha, you're in there seducing every woman. You think you can get away with playing in the snow. You deserve what you get, man. You should not have been at all entertaining her. As much black women fawn over you as they do. As much black and Hispanic women look at you all as, prize men and high value men. You should never, ever have chosen to deal with some oppressor. You deserve what you get, man. She now it's obvious now she lied, right? I believe the devil who did it.
Come on.
I think it came out that she did lie. She lied about the whole thing. There was no evidence saying nothing. Turn the light on right there, please, bro. Yeah. There's no evidence that whatever she said happened, but the damage has already been done, according to the news. You get the point?
Go ahead.
What do I ask for this now?
Isaiah 64:6.
Right, somebody grab, please.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 64, verse 6. But we are all as an unclean thing.
Say it again.
But we are all as an unclean thing.
Say it one more time.
But we are all as an unclean thing.
Lord, look at us, sis. Oh, brother, whoever asked the question. We are all as an unclean thing. You understand? Don't think a few years in the truth serving the Lord is going to make up for, all that mess you did in the world. Don't think it's going to make up. We doing this by faith. We believe that if we do this right, when Christ returns, we would be on the right side of his sword and not the left. or not on the wrong side of the sword. You get the point? This is not where you walking around today thinking that you better than your cousin who have a white woman. You get the point? Your cousin might have a white woman and next year come into the truth and build 10 schools, more than what you have ever done. What does that mean now? He's better than you? Like, you should never take that approach, and maybe that's the reason he's rejecting it. It could be. I don't know. I don't know your dynamic, but the fact that you would try to embarrass him before a stranger or strangers like that, that's not healthy. All right, brother or sister, whoever it is, that's not a healthy thing to do.
Right.
You get the point? Now, you could ask the same question without, showing him. You don't have to do that. All right.
You got more description.
Go ahead.
And all our righteousness is and all our righteousness are as filthy rags.
Mm-hmm. And all our righteousness is as filthy rags. All our righteousness meaning this. Who knows what it means? We'll break it down. Go ahead.
Like the Christians, and they think they so righteous and everything that they doing, but even your best righteousness is nothing to the Lord's righteousness.
I ain't talking about the Christians. They're for sure filthy and disgusting. Say that one. All our righteousness.
I mean, what we perceive to be righteous is filthy to the Lord.
Is what kind of filthy? What's filthy rag in the scripture? What?
I don't know how to put it without saying it.
Say it, brother. Goddamn.
Is it like a tampon?
It's a menstrual cloth. A tampon is not a rag.
Concept.
Right? Imagine a menstrual cloth. That's what the Lord considers all our righteousness. Meaning, what you big-headed about in your mind, it's like a menstrual cloth to the Lord.
Right.
Because you don't celebrate Christmas. You don't celebrate the Thanksgiving. You don't got high, nose high. You probably done tasted every heathen from here to Timbuktu, from here to Sudan. You get the point?
Concept.
So to be big-headed and thinking you something. Remember, the Lord he saw when the angel came with the full screen on your damn iniquity. Get the point? Not words. The angel opened the fourth dimension, and the Lord looked at that thing and said, nasty. True. You're sure about this? Right. Now, you taking your big-headed ass, you want to put your cousin on blast. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you've done. Tell me what you've done before you came in the truth. You don't want to do that, though. Then don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Right? It's what's he want to give me any more on that?
Come. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away.
That's what's going to happen if you take that approach. Right? You take that approach, you just going to disappear because you already made it. Right? You get where you have to go. So that's that. Somebody who is working all the way, they're not going to disappear. You get the point? And Elon literally disappeared before our eyes. Because he thought he was David. That's fighting Goliath and didn't throw no stones. The Lord said, hold my wine. And nigga disappeared like Thanos disappeared. You get the point? Go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to see if this precept that I had it would be fitting on this topic, if I may. It's 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. For it had been better for them to not have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn away from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
No.
Okay.
No, not for this one. That's for somebody who then came into the knowledge of the truth and left it.
Okay.
Right? This here is really the pride in the truth. It's the same alpha, beta, spirit. Give me a second. I'll tell you what this is. All right. Filthy rags. Give me where the Lord is. I'm paraphrasing a word. You might know where it is. Where the Lord said, you know what? Give me Romans 9. It's not of him who willeth or runneth. Also, where the Lord said, okay, he has to call you. He, you know, I'm talking about where you can't come unto him unless he calls you. No matter what happens, you know, if he ain't call you, he ain't call you. Go ahead.
Oh. Book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
What shall we say then? Is this Book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that sheweth mercy. Exactly.
What does that mean? It is not of him that willeth or of him that runneth, but it's the Lord that showeth mercy. Go ahead, Shabbat.
It's like it don't matter how much you show off as far as your abilities, or how much you say, "Oh, I'll do this," and your willingness. It doesn't matter to the Lord. He's the one that picks you.
He's the one that showed mercy on whoever he has shown mercy on. Right. Get the point? That same cousin you're talking about. Now he might be wicked as hell. You know what I mean? He might be wicked as hell. And the Lord might choose him or call him. That's not for me to say.
Right.
You get the point? That's not for me to say and try to put him on front street for it. I could correct him about it. And if he gets proud about it, then I'll deal with him in a certain way. Right. But, you know, beyond that, you know, it's not of anything that you do. The Lord is the one who shows mercy. Right. Remember, Moses didn't make it into the promised land with Joshua and Caleb. This is Moses who helped take down Pharaoh, who was recorded as, you know, the one doing it. When the Lord gave him the power, he went in there and wrecked Egypt, and the Lord stopped him. They'll say, "You, not cursing. You." The rest of them could go, but you can't go. And what are you going to say? Your word's greater than Moses? You can't even split a glass of water, nigga. Much less the Red Sea. Your brother thirsty, you wouldn't half your glass, but you wouldn't split the Red Sea. You ain't Moses, so you get my point. What's the other one I wanted? You found it?
Come.
Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 6, verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him.
Exactly. Right? So you want to remember that as you're trying to fish people. You can't get angry if the person is hearing it. It's just, the Lord has to wake them up. The word was clear to you because the Lord opened your eyes for it. There's somebody, most of y'all in here, heard the truth with somebody sitting next to you. Very few of you all actually heard it by yourself. Is that person who's sitting next to you now the same person who you heard the truth with? Where they at? Both of y'all heard the same thing. Why they ain't here? It's not your fault. It's not a breakdown that you could have given them or not given them. Right. The Lord ain't pulled them in there. Or the Lord ain't pulling them in at all. I don't know. Your duty is to go out and fish. Fish. If the fish bite, they bite. If they don't, they don't. Don't go get angry with the goddamn fish. Don't get mad with the fish and blow up the lake because they ain't listening to you. That's pride. You get the point? That's what Jonah, that's what happened with Jonah. You get the point?
Okay.
All right. Ready for Sudan now? Salaki, anymore?
So there's someone named Shell says, when y'all coming to Chinatown?
When you come to class. Huh? When you come to class. When would you be in class? Right? We in Chinatown every Saturday, Lord allow and weather permitted. But I want to know, when would you be in class? Help me out. Right, Shells? Help me out. The one with the interracial marriage, of course, everybody know that. Give me Tobit 4 and 12. Give me Tobit 4 and 12 and Deuteronomy 7 and what? 3? Is it 7 and 3? All right, give me that real quick, all right, please.
Got the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son.
Say it again.
Beware of all whoredom, my son.
Say it one more time.
Beware of all whoredom, my son. And chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
Right? That's what you want for anybody who's, if you need them to understand the interracial marriage. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. All right? It's you chasing after these heathens, brothers, because you like horse. It's in the Bible. That's sweat. I understand. You're just in the world. You grow up watching TV where everything pretty is bright and white and blonde. I get it. Ain't no sweat. You was lied to. You was bamboozled. You was hoodwinked. The mother up landed on you. You didn't understand, the glory on the other side. You get the point? So you use that scripture. Also, Moses' sister tried to charge him for having that heathen wife when he was in the world, before he knew the Lord. Moses' sister tried to charge him, and the Lord had to check her, which is the other side of the interracial marriage. There's a brother or sister, they may have married a heathen in the world, right? They come into the truth. Nobody tells them to go divorce that heathen. You are saying that man. Now, if that heathen leave, then you're free. You're under the same laws we're under. You may have a husband or a wife in the world that's of your nation, but they're in the world. Nobody comes and tells you to divorce that person because they don't believe. No, divorce is wrong according to the law. Right. Now, if they leave, then you're free. You get the point? But you have a heathen husband or wife, you come into the truth, pay your tithes. Make sure that fool pay their tithes too. You can't bring them to the Passover, but you surely make sure you're there. And that's life. Now, they leave, fine. They don't, fine. This is about you. You get the point, but you cannot divorce them. Anybody telling you to divorce them is a liar and is telling you to sin. And I know some people out there teach that nonsense, but it's the same weak mindset. It's the same weakness that they're telling you to do. You get the point? A heathen spouse, a heathen husband or wife is like a tattoo. You got it in the world. You shouldn't have it. When you come to the truth, don't go try to cut your damn skin off. Just don't get no more. That's it. Right. Just keep the damn tattoo. Who cares? Anybody looking at you will know you got it in the world. Right. Anybody, if you're in the UPK, if you're in some, other church, some old Christian group, then I don't know. You probably got that yesterday. But if you in here, everybody know that's from the world. You just don't get no more. But nobody is going to require you to, rip your damn cheek off, rip your neck off, because to show that you're ignorant. No. Nobody's going to require that of you. Christ didn't require it. Paul didn't require it. None of the men in the Bible require it. Right? What's the other one I called for? Deuteronomy?
Oh, come. Please, Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Right. You shouldn't give your daughter to his son. Neither their daughter, you shouldn't take them for your son. Like, that's not something we should do. According to Tobit, you should chiefly, meaning of all things, primarily, firstly, most importantly, you should marry your own people. Right. You should marry the daughter of your own. You should marry into the sons of your own. That's how you build a good stock. Give me another one too in Ezra. Ezra 8 and 64. Read it again, Shaphat.
Come, sir. We're going to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriage
of good stock. Trusting in the good stock and something with the seed. Corrupting the seed or keeping the seed strong. Go ahead, Al.
Come, sir. Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you,
Go ahead.
And destroy thee suddenly.
Right, and that's what happened to Jonathan Major. The anger of the Lord was kindled against that fool, and the Lord destroyed him suddenly. Nigger lose an army contract, and all the army soldiers is beating the hell out of their women, beating the hell out of their subordinate officers, beating the hell out of anybody within reach. They're abusing everybody. And they took away his contract because some whole lie. The Lord was angry with him. You get the point? Give me first Ezra 8 and 70. Anybody find the other one I wanted?
Oh,
go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thy own seed.
Sow it with thine own seed. Right. That's a good strong one. Sow it with thine own seed, the seed of your people. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
And trust in the goodness of thy stock, which is totally opposite to them alpha and beta boys. You get the point? It's you trusting in your stock. You're not carnal for the the little things you see, which is not really a issue. You understand? Like that sister you so turned off by. She ain't smuggling drugs in the community. She ain't doing it. Brother sent me a news story about some white broad in Birmingham, UK, who was a huge drug kingpin. I mean, millions of dollars of weed and drugs and pills this bitch is pushing. Young girl too, young white girl. This is how she got caught. She was stealing. And they pulled her over. And they just happened to notice all the pills on the back seat. She ain't even hiding the shit. They say she operating for years. And whichever drug, the drug boys they was watching for years, she's the one behind the shit. But you'd rather go marry her. She has some good job somewhere. She ain't even quit the job. She's still going to work, still drawing paid, buying houses, and nobody could figure out how she making so much goddamn money. But our woman is the problem. A little turkey neck and a little loud mouth, and you ready to jump races. Holy shit. Go ahead.
It's like I have a precept. Could it be used?
Mm-hmm.
This is Daniel chapter 2 and 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
God damn, you taking that shit personal. Even as iron mixed with muddy clay. Hey, where's that one again?
Daniel 2 and 43.
I like that one. I put that one in the down clip. Where's the other one I'm talking about with the weakening the seed? We don't get the point, right? There's a whole ton of good ones. That other one ROI get pull is good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the next verse all I just had that was Ecclesiastes 26 and 20, verse 21 as well.
Go ahead, keep reading. Let me hear it.
Come. From Ecclesiastes 26 and 21. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
Take that one too, right? Thy race will be magnified, having confidence of their good descent. All right, all that is to what? Go ahead.
Like my favorite with Shish Kebab with Phineas, when he stabbed the heathen and the Israelite governor.
Go ahead. You have it.
Slack,
no, sir, but that's a good one too. That's a good one as well. Don't nobody go do that. All right. If that's any questions, you don't do that anymore.
There's one last question, sir.
Right. So for the person who had the Shorty brothers picture, those precepts are good. What you should do is give your cousin the number to the school. All right. I'm not sure if you figured out it was a brother or sister.
Last.
Okay. If it's I highly doubt it's a brother. It's a priest in here. Maybe it's a young man. I don't know. But give the brother the number if he's interested. If he's not interested, then fine. There's many people who would be interested. But if he is interested, give him the number to come to get called and get some counsel. All right. Go ahead.
God, so it's from Captain Averill. Says, do you believe in salvation for all?
Say that again?
Averill. Avril.
Just say Averill. There ain't no Captain Averill in here. I guess I'll call Captain Crunch Captain before I call him Captain. Captain Hook gets Captain C in the end for him. Go ahead.
Arrow says, "Do you believe in salvation for all?"
No. No.
That's right.
You're wrong. You think some heathen gonna come up in here? You come in here, Captain, you end up average. You think I'm gonna let a heathen get in here? No. God damn it. What's wrong with you, man? And that woman who is effing average, she can't get no. That's what it's really about. Whoever is in his bed, he wants salvation, but she can't get no salvation. You could. Right? What else you have?
That's all, sir.
Okay, so Sudan, right? We also Sudan. Everybody knows where Sudan is. Look at the map. It's right under Ethiopia. You can't see that map. Pull it up on your phones. Right? We gotta get a better map. A newer one. I went somewhere with my kids recently. I see a map. I was like, damn, that's what it looked like now. The map doesn't change that. They make Africa so goddamn big, bro. It's so big, and the other places they like them proportionate more. Go ahead.
Oh, sir. So you know, well, this is older, but now Sudan is split. They got South Sudan,
Southern Sudan, and Northern Sudan. This is good for the historical references. When you're teaching certain things how it used to be, even the older maps where it would show the whole USSR. I don't think that one shows it. That one doesn't show USSR, right? It just says Russia.
Yes, it does.
It shows USSR.
It says you kind of concept.
Okay, that's good to have, because not everybody, there's going to be a whole generation that's not going to know about USSR. Just like there's a generation not going to know about East and West Germany. You get the point? So those kind of maps is good to have for the reference point, so they see what's what. All right? So everybody see where Sudan is. All right? And now what's going on in Sudan? Go ahead.
Slack, I don't know what's new, but I know what has been going on.
Come on, bring it up.
The North is killing the South. The North has the power, and they just killing niggas in the South. That's about all. I mean, it's like killing Hamites.
I get it. Killing what's his name? Boy. Go ahead.
they in the capital, Khartoum. Civil war is broken out.
Right. They have a current civil war going on, which really they always had it. You know, when you really look at it, it was just real passive little uprisings. They had a ton of paramilitary factions. Right. They have a militia that is currently damn near bigger than the army itself. Right. This militia was formed in the early 2000s, maybe late 1900s, maybe like 1998, maybe 97, somewhere around there. And this militia was formed to battle Darfur. I believe it's the people in Darfur they were fighting. Right? Uprisings in Darfur. Look, somebody pull up where Darfur is. All right. This is good to actually know and have an idea of what's going on because of the climate of the world today, right? Because of what's going on today and the things that are going on overseas. It's good to just keep your eye on these certain regions. Let me know where.
So like the top right on the map.
You can pull it up on the stream, y'all. All right?
Okay, sir. It's right next to, like, bordering Chad. Almost got it, sir. Yeah, I got it. Okay. It's a good one.
All right. So somebody could pull up any article on the conflict now, all right? So you can read along if there's anything there. So now they had this, of course, you have the Sudanese military, and then you have this paramilitary or this militia, right? This militia, again, was formed to battle the people in Darfur, similar Okay, these are really old tactics of war, more than likely influenced by America. Same thing like what America did with Saddam Hussein when they was battling the Kurds. America didn't go battle the Kurds themselves. America gave Saddam Hussein guns, gave him missiles, tanks, and mustard gas. I believe that was one of the earliest records of them using that chemical warfare. And Saddam used them Kurds and got them Kurds in order. Saddam became a strong man in the Middle East because America was backing him until America wasn't. And then they hung it. So now you have these people that militia used for the Kurds. Now this militia, I mean, it wasn't just like random, people. They really got organized army arrival in the actual Sudanese army. Around in 2013, I believe, al-Bashir, who was the leader in Sudan, he started backing them even more, right? And he quote unquote legalized this militia, right? This militia was run by a man called Hemditi or Hedmiti. Just look up his name. He have a like a slang name, almost like a nickname they give him. Right, I forgot his name. And then now you have the other general, Bashan, who is the general in charge of the actual Sudan military. Right? Let me know when you have them names.
Current article.
Go ahead.
Sudan, new conflict escalation exacerbates 20 years of suffering for civilians in Darfur.
Right, because of course it's that militia they have was the ones they used to fight the Darfur at the beginning of the 2000s, right? And the records on that, of course, he'll publicly put out what the heathens. They were saying they was killing and raping so much, it's ridiculous. They was just running through the city, killing and raping everybody, right? And of course, Sudan is not a stranger to military coups. They had one, I think, in '83 or early '80s, and that was over being an Islamic State versus being more democratic and the police, right? So they kind of been war torn in political conflict for a while. But over the past 20 years, the area really been kind of unstable. A ton of occupation, a ton of little uprisings here and there, but it's really little proxy wars going on between America and whoever else America fighting at the time. Right? So go ahead where you are.
Okay. As the escalation in violence between the Sudan armed forces and the rapid support forces spreads throughout Sudan, civilians in Darfur continue to suffer due to the country's authorities' failure to provide security and their inability to deliver justice and accountability for war crimes and other violations 20 years after the Darfur conflict began. Amnesty International said today. The Darfur conflict erupted on the 25th of April 2003 when the Sudan Liberation Movement attacked military forces at the Al-Fashir airport in North Darfur. In the years that followed, hundreds of thousands of people have been killed and millions more displaced as the war raged between rebel forces and the military.
How much is it? How much people?
It's sloppy. It said hundreds of thousands of people have been killed and millions displaced.
Every year?
Since 2003.
Oh, since 2003. That ain't too much. Yeah, I mean, they could make more. Right? So, they could make more. All right? Y'all didn't die more than us, so I could laugh. Right. Y'all didn't die more than us in the barrios and the reservations, and I could laugh. You could make more. Go get to it. Right? So they're losing a whole ton of people. Darfur is right. Tell me where Darfur is coming from in relation to Sudan.
It's on the central and southwest of the country of Sudan.
So it's on the inside. It's on like more towards Central Africa, right? Okay, go ahead. Any more in the article?
Come.
Bring me up to where they mention the militia.
Come.
Or if anybody have another one. Shabbat?
We got Hemeti.
Hemeti, that's the nigga name.
Who is Hemeti, general behind Sudan's feared RSF force?
The Rapid Something Force, Strike Force.
Sir.
Right?
Host for Sudan's.
This dude here, he take militia. You know what militia is, right? Militia is like a pickup team for the military. If you really want to put it like that, it's like a, not even as organized as your National Guard or your reserves, not even that organized. This is, you could shoot, come. You could fight, come. You know about this, come to it. You ain't got shit to do, you single, come on. It's that. This nigga take that shit, and after being supported by America, and built really a military that's bigger than Sudan's military. If not bigger, definitely way more powerful, right? That's what's causing the uprising right now, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Hosts for Sudan's transition to civilian rule have waned after violence has broken out between the military and the powerful paramilitary rapid support forces.
Right, they call them a paramilitary now. Before they was calling them a militia when they dealt with Darfur, right? They're paramilitary, and they had I think a riot in either 2019 or 2021 with the public protesting because they want democracy like the West. Of course, if you know anything about history, that didn't come from them. Just like how India, remember when Sri Lanka, when they stormed the Sri Lankan palace? Right. You remember that last year? The niggas stormed the Sri Lankan palace and all the dignitaries had to leave. The same thing with the Arab Spring. When the Arab Spring rioted and ran through Egypt and all of that shit, and they wanted democracy. All that thing is really America. America using Facebook and all them in apps to rile up the youth into protesting. So now they was protesting a couple of years ago, and they wanted democracy. They wanted to have the right to vote and the right to elect their leaders, because these two military generals are around since 2000 and already had power then, right? Now, I think in 2013, al-Bashir, who was the leader in Sudan, he legitimized that paramilitary one with, what's his name? Hemeti? Whatever. Some Hedementi or something like that. His name is long as shit, and they just call him that name. He damn near legitimized them and had him directly reporting to Bashir. So this is a militia group who you just give guns and tell them go over there and keep people down. That's very similar to what happens with who?
It sounds like a lynch mob.
Sounds like a lynch mob, but there's something else. There's another thing they do. Politicians use gang members, use gangsters to use gang members to do things in areas. You probably mightn't hear much of it now, but initially with the gangs, it was highly tied to politicians. You all remember in America, the shower posse, Jamaican shower posse? How them niggas get visas? How they get to come to America with high-powered guns, and they call them the shower posse. So you know what that was about. Showering you with lead. How did this happen? Because they had political ties with Siaga, who was the leaders in Jamaica. Go ahead.
That was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s.
I remember that.
Right? So that dates back all the way. I mean, it's in most of the Central American countries, the Caribbean countries, there's some sort of tie between gang leaders and politicians. I have to tell you about Mexico. They always have a link with it. Come on. Go ahead, so
Yeah, Shalom, never as they bringing out that point, then that's reading part of article here as well, saying, what's at stake in the region now, right? So, okay, let's read this little part of the article. It says,
say that last part again. You say it a little louder. I hear what you say.
All right, I say, as you're bringing out that point concerning, with the gang leaders and, government, paying people, to fight against one another, something is at stake now, right? So I was reading a part of the article as well to now see what's at stake in the region, right? Right? It say Sudan is in a violate region bordering the Red Sea, the Sahel region, and the Horn of Africa. Its strategic location and agricultural wealth have attracted regional power plays, complicating the chances of successful transition to civilized government. So
exactly. Like that what you say in there is really the root of all war. War ain't got nothing to do with righteousness. Very rarely does. Right? It's about power. It's about being in charge. It's about resources. You get the point? And they're using whoever to do it. What they're doing with them is what they did with us. You get the point? They fund one war in secret and they fund one side openly. And then when they fight, they could now flip and go whichever side they want. Come on.
Free Ricky Ross and the Iran-Contra scandal.
The Iran-Contra scandal. That's, something, what I mean. That's ridiculous what they did right there. And they didn't care about it. So now you're seeing what happened here with these people. So now 2013, he doesn't get a whole ton of power where he's now legitimate according to the Sudanese government. Right? And of course, he's able to now get government funding, have position. I believe 2019. Somebody check it out for me and let me know if I'm right or wrong. I think 2019, the same head mentee or head mentee, who was the general in charge of the militia group, and the other general, both come together and arrest Bashir. The same nigga who put him in power. They both come together over a disagreement of how the place should run. And they both have the big military and guns, and Bashir's in charge. They say, no sweat, we're going to arrest you and put you in jail, and we'll run the country. So that's what happened. What year was it? Come on.
2019.
19, right? So they both come together with that. Of course, the people didn't like it because that doesn't seem like a step towards democracy. That seems like more military occupation. Mm-hmm. And of course, these is really just, real gangsters. This is just real gangsters with a ton of money. So of course, there ain't much law in the land. Ton of killing, ton of raping was happening. So now they come together and they was trying to have an agreement and to transfer the power to the people, which is what the people wanted. The one who was in charge of Sudan's military, he said, let's integrate within 2 years the paramilitary and Sudan's actual government military. The other one, Hemeti, whatever his name is, he said, no, let's integrate within 10 years because my unit is so goddamn big. I got soldiers all over, which he really do. It's going to take a long while. Of course, the government, the general in charge of the government military, he don't want that. He wants it done faster because he wants to stabilize the region. Now, just for time's sake, I'm going to just go ahead and give it to you. That Hemeti one, in his reign from really since the 2000s, but more in 2013 after Bashir done give him power, this nigga done took over all the gold mines. And Sudan is known for gold, a ton of gold, ton of natural resources. His military secures the gold mine, which is, that's a huge import-export market. It's a huge source of, cash. And of course, with controlling those type of resources, as well as the agricultural part that Sawab was just bringing out, and being strategically located, you have international government agencies now taking interest in Sudan. One of them is America. Well, America for sure already there. If war break out, they're there. Somebody there. Go ahead.
BRICS.
Nope. But close though.
Russia.
Russia done dominate. Russia. The report says Russia done sent some dude named Wagner, some representative from the Wagner group, which is kind of like how Rumsfeld was with Bush, with Halliburton and all of them. So Wagner, he done tell the one with the paramilitary, don't worry about nothing. You could get guns and resources from us. Because they know that could be a source for them to get cash because America done cut them off. You get the point? So Hemeti and the military general who's in charge of the actual military, they reached a head now where they can't come to an agreement. The paramilitary one, he won 10 years because of course he trying to get paid from all that wealth he controlling. The other one trying to make it happen in 2 years so he could control the country. He gained pressure from America. Them niggas start fighting last week. Fully fighting, bombing everything up. And it's bad because of the size of the military, which was really funded by America and other international groups. You get the point? How they getting so much guns in Sudan? I know you got gold, but they get it from. You get the point? So that's where it is now. Now, why is it important? Because now Russia is involved. Russia is involved. America is also watching, but America hasn't picked a side just yet. They have not been able to control any one side just yet because America is operating from a place of weakness right now. There was a time America could have operated from a strong position where they just say, have this resolved by Sunday or else we put in boots on the ground. Remember them days? Remember them days? So they say, put boots on the ground, bombs over Baghdad. Where all that talk is now? America ain't doing that right now because they really, they have to draw back. You get the point? Go ahead.
Nah, you seem to me everybody talking trash to America, for real.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Trump was talking about. Nobody respects us anymore. Nobody does this. Nobody looks at us like we're a great power. And he was absolutely right. Go ahead.
It's like if I may, the U.S. embassy that they had over in Sudan, they actually pushed the U.S. out. They had to move eastward towards Sudan because the civil war popped out so bad that they took over the U.S. embassy.
Yeah, brother, it's absolutely a bad, horrible situation going on over there right now. It's bad and horrible for the world, looking at it, right? Go ahead.
Oh, so I got a little bit of description.
Come on.
This counterinsurgency strategy, which the government continues to deploy, has resulted in horrendous amounts of death, destruction, and displacement. Hundreds of thousands of civilians have also been killed and affected by conflict-induced starvation, dehydration, disease. Hundreds of villages have been
dehydration. What is what else is it? Starvation. All the shuns.
Dehydration.
Shun. It seems like shun is the problem. Starvation, eviction, dehydration, incarceration. y'all, all the shuns is attracted to y'all. Now they're writing that article and we're trying to make you feel sorry for these Sudanese people, brother.
Right.
Meanwhile, they'll come across here and talk to you like you garbage. They'll talk to you like you a piece of shit. Like you, why you American? You American, you can't get it together, this and the other. But now I'm supposed to feel sorry for them because they don't got milk. I seen a video that one going in the store, he's like, there's no milk, there's no water, everything just gone. And I was like, sounds about right to me. Right. Sounds about good and right to me. That's the other thing. That's coming to America. Right. That is absolutely coming to America. Let Russia get hold of Sudan, which is going to be a huge problem. If Russia get hold of this place, go to Sudan with all that gold, all them minerals, all them resources. There's a whole ton of other minerals coming out of Sudan. They get hold of that place. America is going to be very vulnerable because now Russia is going to be able to fully side with China and start trading that oil in a whole other currency. They're going to be able to trade it with a whole other currency, which is going to make the American dollar even weaker. Once that American dollar gets weaker, you are not going to have no milk now. No eggs. You always talking about eggs earlier, right? Eggs was $9. You're going to be happy the eggs will be $9 exactly. It's going to be a rough time. And all this is with the prophecy in Ezekiel 38. Right. All right? Go ahead, give us some.
Last
All right, give me Ezekiel 38, all right?
Sloppy, what verse, sir?
You can start at 1.
Come, come.
You can have 4 or 5 verses. We're going to run it all the way down.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophecy against him.
Right? So this is again prophecy against Gog and Magog. You can write it in red if it ain't red is done too. We don't have no other ones? Alright, no sweat. I read that again from the top.
Come, come. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophecy against him.
The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Who is this talking about here? Come on,
the USSR.
That's the USSR, right? That land of Gog and Magog. In Genesis, these are who? Gog, Magog, Meshech, and Tubal. Who is this? Russia. I mean, this is Russia here. But who is it in Genesis? In Genesis is running down the sons of Adam and the sons of man.
The sons of Esau?
No. These are the sons of Japheth. So this was Japheth land before. And then Esau ran Japheth out his land. And now it's called by the same names of Japheth. Much like how this land belongs to Gad. This land belongs to Reuben. It belongs to, the Blackfoot, the Cherokee, Chickasaw. It belongs to the native people. Esau ran everybody out and isolated everybody, put everybody on reservation. Now he's the American. He's the Native American. Go ahead.
So basically when it's saying Gog and Magog, it's just talking about the land.
Well, here it's talking about the people in that land.
Come.
Yes, sir. But this is where the argument comes from. You ever hear people saying Esau is Japheth?
Come.
This is where it comes from. This is where it comes from. They're saying if this prophecy is about Esau, Esau has to be Japheth because Meshach and Tubal is sons of Japheth. You get the point? But this is not what it's talking about. Here it's talking about the people who in that land. You understand me? It's talking about the people who in that land. You get it? So this is a prophecy against Edom, who is in that land today, who is Russia. And he is now sitting there as Gog and Magog, big one and the little one, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 3. And say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Right? The Lord is against God. But who is God here? The oppressor, the Russians. You get the point? The Russians, the Edomites in that land. That's who he's against. But they're in that land. Go on.
Come. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
All right, bring that down. What's he talking about there? Go ahead.
The Lord is dragging Russia back into the third world, get into this third world war that's about to come.
How? Why does he have to drive Russia back?
Russia at one point, they fell off the map a little bit.
Meaning what? Meaning what?
Meaning as far as a known world power, like
Okay, that's not the reason though. That's not the reason the Lord has to turn them back. Go ahead.
Tell me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because at one point, Russia, you know, their leaders wanted to be westernized.
At one point, Russia drank the Kool-Aid. At one point, Russia was, you know, looking at the Western power as, okay, we need to follow their lead, right? This was with, I think, Gorbachev. Was it Gorbachev who visited Reagan or Nixon? And he carried him in these supermarkets and showed him how, you know, it was stocked up. And meanwhile, there was bread lines in Russia. After that, Russia started looking at the Western way of things because Europe was suffering. Because at that time, America was making war with everybody. We're talking about coming out of the Vietnam War, then you had the Gulf War, all these wars, and able to subdue the earth and really live off of people, right? Russia was looking at that. Gorbachev, now he was looking at that whole thing. I think Putin was his understudy. Who was after Putin?
Medvedev. That was after Putin.
There was somebody in between, but Putin was an understudy.
Medvedev.
It might be him. Someone just check it out for me and let me know. But Putin was an understudy who, you know, almost like how it was with Chavez, where they at first was looking at America. At first, Chavez even was looking to side with America, and America tried to kill him. Then he was like, to hell with y'all. And that's why Venezuela is where they are now. But now, once Putin got in there and seen everything, the Lord had Putin now start going back the other way, which was to go back to build the USSR, the Soviet Union, which is what they're trying to do now. You get the point? Once that Soviet Union was disbanded, all them, okay, you see all them lower regions in the Russian area, close to Turkey, all them stands, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and all of that, all those was USSR territory. All that whole mass, you know, once that thing broken up, you have Bosnia, Slovenia, Slovakia, you know, all them areas, Czech Republic, used to be Czechoslovakia before, all them areas come out of Russia. What's happening now is Russia is now, not now, a few years, I think since probably 2015, going to gobble back up all them little young areas around. Go ahead.
So like I said, when I was a little kid, I used to just look at the map like Russia's half the world.
Basically, you know what I mean? Basically, now they ain't, from what they say, they ain't as big as Africa as a continent. But damn it, when you look at how everything else is divided up, like that whole area there, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you know, territory. So now you have Russia trying to go back. You started seeing it plainly with the battle with Georgia, Russia. I don't know if you remember that. That was early 2010s, 2012, somewhere around there, where Georgia and Russia was trying to defect from Russia, right? America was supporting Georgia and Russia on one side. Putin said, to hell with that thing. We ain't having that. And he would not back off. And he went in there and started letting off in Georgia, Russia. Georgia, Russia, you know, bent the knee and said, okay, we'll just go back with Russia, America. Thank you very much. Now, a few years later, you have the same thing happening with Ukraine, right? But now Ukraine is now not just being backed by America, but being backed by NATO. Putin is very wise about it and don't want all that power so close to him, because now you could fight a war from right there. So that's what the conflict is with Ukraine and Russia right now, right? So now with Sudan, and of course from that, America done had all these embargoes against Russia. You could hardly watch anything on the internet with Russia right now. You share something, a thing come up saying, this may be owned by the Russian government. Are you sure you still want to share it? I'm like, nigga, it's news. What the hell are we talking about? But it's such an embargo on Russia. So now Russia is getting involved in Sudan because there's resources down there. There's money down there. And if they're able to secure Sudan with that military down there and get that dude in its pocket, who's going to give them money that China won't pay for with BRICS, is going to be problems now. No, Russia ain't going to be starving no more. No, Sudan ain't going to be starving no more. It'll just be, you know, half Russia. You get the point? And that's very important because now all this is in the prophecy. Skip me down to So he said he'll turn back Gog and Magog like a fish. Like you put a hook in a fish mouth, the fish swims away from the boat. You pulling the fish back. So you turning him back the other way. That's how the Lord turned Russia back, which is why Russia is what it's doing now. And he will have them with a great company with shields and bucklers, handling swords. That's everybody coming to Russia now, including China. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 5. Persia,
which is Iran.
Ethiopia,
which is who? Kush. But Kush is very close to Sudan right there. And some of them people who fight it now is Kush. Right. You get the point? Go ahead.
Come. And Libya,
which is northern Africa. And if you all remember Libya was in the news with who else? Syria, with Gaddafi. You get the point? They couldn't get Assad out, who was in charge of Libya. He was a little smart after he see what they did to Gaddafi. But all these is coming into play. Right? Go ahead.
All of them with shield and helmet.
All of them with shield and helmet. This thing is starting to come together like a good series. You don't watch a binge watch shit on Amazon. You need to binge watch the news. Right. This shit is coming together, and it's coming together in a way where if you don't have the prophecies, you're not going to see, okay, this thing is starting to fall into place. Right. That's Sudan, because of where they're located and because of the resources they have, that's a very, very big deal. Country's been in war forever. Yahanna just sent me a tape, 2 tapes actually. I couldn't watch all of them. It's like Yahanna, God damn, man. When they burn these 10 gang leaders who they have these marauding gangs, again, like a militia, that really kind of terrorizing the public in Haiti, but they politically affiliated. Levi rose up, brother, and dealt with them biblically. I'm talking about stone them to put the evil away from among them. Yahanna sent me a tape, brother. One of them walk out the fire. They started to let go some stones on his head, brother. Yeah. This nigga just go back and sit in the fire. I shit you not. That's what they rewind the tape. You just see stones flying from behind the camera. He just look around and go back and turn around and just sit in the fire. He's like, I'm done with this shit. And more stones is coming into the fire. When the fire died down, there's a ton of tires and about 10 of them. Because the people is tired of the thing, just like Sudan. They're tired of it. They're revolting against the militia. You have the government military there. But Haiti don't have oil to give America. Haiti don't have oil to give America. So that's not in the news. But Sudan is in the news. Right? Sudan is in the news every day. And you're evacuating. And what's going on in Sudan is bad. And the rapings. Oh my God. Forget about the rapings. Right. The Catholic Church raping everybody. Right. That's not in the news though. But the rapings in Sudan, there's hundreds of rapings, hundreds of thousands of people every year, because they got something that could bolster America. Right. And America trying to get hold of it, but they can't move too bold. Russia don't give a damn. You could pull up the article now. They send the representatives from the Wagner group down there to just let them know. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. Because the Third World War is at hand. If that nigga signed with Russia, America, the more they wait, is the more they're going to be forced to do something drastic. The more they wait. Go ahead.
It's like in the article of Hamed T, it also was talking about human rights groups have accused the Janjaweed of war crimes, including killings, rapes, and torture of civilians throughout the conflict in Darfur.
Right, that Janjaweed was the old name of the militia group. The militia group, that's what they call them, Janjaweed or Jajuweed or something like that. This was when they was fighting the people in Darfur. But now they calling them a paramilitary group. But they done got big, they done got huge, similar to what America did with who else? If you remember correctly. Somebody, their name was in the news, it was terrorists.
What's the Afghanistan in them?
Specifically.
Osama bin Laden.
Them too. ISIS. The Islamic State was originally a militia group that America funded to fight Syria. Them niggas said, give us guns. Yeah, give us guns. Give us guns. Allahu Akbar. See you later. And turned and formed the Islamic State of Syria. And then wiped out everybody. Syria. And that's America funded them. That's what's going on in Sudan right now. Watch carefully, Schwab. buy your groceries, stock up on your ibuprofen, stock up on some soap, stock up on some oil, and some Band-Aids. Buy Cheerios to them kids, because this thing go left, there'll be nothing in Shoppers. There'll be nothing in Giant. There'll be nothing nowhere. And everybody gonna be looking for the UPK. Go ahead.
Right, so that is heavy because Esau just show his spirit in every single way. Whereas we got time after time where they done funded this militia and then they turn on them. Funded this militia and then they turn on them. They still don't care because they get what they want right now. They want it right now. They get what they getting out of it right now.
Well, listen, well, okay, this is the big part of it. He's doing it and he don't care. Most of our people want to be him. Most of our people actually want to be him, want to do what he does and have what he has. Most of our people don't want to build a nation that could just destroy his, that just has power over his. You know, to do that, has to have a certain amount of discipline. You ain't gonna be able to fly to the Philippines. You ain't gonna be able to go toss dollars in the strip club. But you're gonna have a military, you're gonna have an army, you're gonna have a whole nation. But most of our people don't want to do none of that, which is why we few, which is why we so high quality, which is why our standard is so high, because the rulership that's coming is a different type of rulership. It's going to demand a certain amount of dedication, it's going to demand a certain amount of commitment. It's going to demand it because you're going to have to deal with them fools.
Right.
You're going to have to subdue them, and subdue the Russian, and subdue this one, and subdue that one. The Lord ain't coming to clean everything up. You understand? He ain't coming to do that. The scripture said he's going to leave some of the heathens in our land to plead with us. To plead with us, meaning what? When he done set us down there, it's not an easy picking. You're going to have to go get these heathens out. And if you don't serve the Lord, these heathens is going to be hard to move out. You do serve him, but it's, easy pickings. Get it, boy? Come on.
Like I believe he did that also in the Exodus also, where he left some of the heathens around so that we can learn war.
Listen, once again, to plead with us. That's how the Lord pleads with us. The Lord pleads with us through conflict. Get the point? He tell you something, you ain't listening, ain't no problem. You show up Monday, we don't need you anymore. What? What you talking about? You don't need me. You're wrong. I worked for this company for 17 years. Like, don't know. Car get repossessed. Things start going wrong in your life, and all you could think of if you're Christian is, Lord, why me? Lord, why the fuck not you? You ain't listening. So I'm pleading with you now. Now I'm begging you. I'm begging you by wrecking your life. You get the point? That's how the Lord handles this thing. And he pleading with Sudan right now. He's pleading with Russia right now. He's pleading with America right now. Are they listening? Hell no. So war is coming. Y'all stay tuned. Then. Y'all stay tuned. Go ahead.
I got that precept that off the
Come on, last one, then we close off, man.
Come. So the book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Verse 2. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least, such as before knew nothing thereof.
Yep, that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be easy anymore. You understand? These things that happen in the world right now is actual biblical prophecy coming to pass. These are things that's been in the making for years, and it still might be a few more years before it all fulfilled, or it might be weeks, it might be tomorrow. Who the hell knows? Because they've been saying this thing in Sudan they was watching for it to happen since 2018 or 2019. After they arrested Bashir. Once they arrested Bashir, the people was unhappy because he was the politician. And the people always felt like these two military generals is going to go to war. They said it was just a matter of time, and they went ahead with it last week. They said to hell with that. Whoever wins controls Sudan, which is really controlling all them resources. And because you control the resources, you now have bargaining power with Russia and America, whoever else want to come in and pour millions into the country. Like, this is really about positioning for power, but the Lord is using it to draw everybody into the Third World War. All right, with that, pass the class over to the priest and officer.
Security announcements. You are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Are the Commander General Yahanna. New rule for brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes to the school, they are all limited for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves with the world. After 6 months, if this brother or sister has interest in a peculiar person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department of teaching. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The unholy convocations, which is Feast of First Fruits, start after the Sabbath, unleavened bread, sundown, Saturday, April 23rd.
No, it's in there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, in the back. Third page. Feast of Unleavened Bread, 15th day of the first month for 7 days.
No, Feast of First Fruit.
Feast of First Fruits. Start after Sabbath, unleavened bread, sundown, April the 19th, 2023. Count 50 days. Celebrated the 50th day, Monday, May 29th, 2023. Stop before sundown. You can find us in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 10 through 22. Remind Akin and Akwati to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK investment material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, usually start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirt, black pants, black headbands, or scarf. And with that, I say Amaju, which means to stand. When in Israel, we will give one courtesy salute to the teacher. When Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua.
Yahanna, Saw, which means to turn. Sisters, you may stand. Men of Israel will give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak. Yahanna, class is missed.